Alright, hello YouTube, welcome to Formula 1 2017. Here we are for EWRL Season 3 testing underway here at Circuit de Catalunya, Barcelona in Spain. Should be one hell of a night. We got two test sessions, one on a dry track and the other on a wet track. We have one shot qualifying. We start off here with our intro, our lovely intro. Had to cut the intro just to, you know, keep copyright. So now we're waiting the 30 seconds before, waiting 30 seconds before we start here. For everybody to get, loaded on. Alright, here we go. Waiting for everybody to get loaded in. Here comes Darius. Is it one at a time? I'm so confused. Alright, so we're gonna look at Darius here. And Darius has crashed it into the barrier here in qualifying. Alright, so it's just not showing us the overlaps. That is okay. You see it a lot of times on the top left, and qualifying is over. Let's look at the results. Pro will qualify third. We're going to get results here at the end of qualifying. It was just a one-shot qualifying session, so let's see how everybody did. We have Dan on the pole with a 120.729, Malik with a 121.6, Pro with a 121.8, Tristan with a 121.8. Tristan with a 122.0, Larry with a 123.5, and Paramount with a 127.6. Darius with no time as he crashed out in qualifying. So here we go. We're getting ready to start the 50% race at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. It's going to be a 50% dry test session to a 100% length race in total. Welcome all viewers here. I'll be looking at the comments quickly, or as best as I can. I'm gonna be watching it, getting the comments on my phone pretty much. Let's see what we got here. Hey, many things. That's nice to hear again a PS4. Hopefully that's not copyright. If not, I'm gonna file a dispute. But we're readying up here for viewers. Welcome to the broadcast. Hope you all enjoy. We're gonna have, how many laps is this? Barcelona should be 27 laps. 5 viewers, welcome. Alright, so here we go. We're going on a formation at 33 laps. And they are off. We only get the TV pod view on the formation lap. There we go. As we watched him carry on their formation lap here, we have the two McLarens on the front row. It looks like that was lag, but no, first McLaren went off the track here. That's cool to hear many things. Alright, so I won't be looking at comments much throughout the stream. You'll be getting a broadcast. As soon as we're going to be gridding up here at the end of the formation lap, you see the McLarens 1 and 2 should be a fun race for the McLarens as the AIs take over. Here comes the Williams of Troy Salter, Tristan Allen in the Ferrari, Larry Arsenault in the Force India. Gonna have Steve Cross, is Paramount? Yeah, Steve Cross in the Mercedes and Darius Bell in the Toro Rosso. So here we go as they grid up. They are gridded and they will now take the lights. Here we go. 5 red lights. Lights are out and away we go. And we are racing in Barcelona for the 2017 test session. You see the Williams to the middle of the Doom, McLaren's and Williams to the inside of Dan Park, Troy Salter to the lead. Dan Park keeps out ahead of Joshua Ballier. Tristan Allen hanging around the outside of Ballier. They make contact as they come up through turn 3. Tristan Allen goes wide, having to cut across. Here comes Darius Bell around the right side of the Ferrari. You can see on the ticker you have position change. Troy Salter taking the early lead here in Barcelona. Take a look at Larry Arsenault and Steve Cross going at it. The Mercedes and the Force India. Both of these have Mercedes engines, and both of these drivers are going to be going at it hard for whatever position they may be looking at here. We'll move up to the Ferrari, who's all over the place. He's trying his hardest to catch up. We have the main 4 we will probably be looking at today: Troy Salter, Dan Park, Joshua Ballier, and Darius Bell. Let's see if Dan can close any time to Troy. Fastest lap goes to Troy Salter on the soft tire in the Williams. We look back now from the first McLaren of Dan, opening a huge gap to Ballier and Bell. Now look up in front. Salter taking a little bit of a wider line than Park through turn 3. So now heading to the right-hander of turn 4. Let's see, we see Park a little bit higher up off the racing line. Ballier under heavy attack from Bell. As we look at the bottom 3 spread out major here, looks like there is a crash between the Mercedes and the Ferrari, or maybe just the Mercedes lost some time. We're gonna just keep position change. See, Troy Salter now taking the lines that you would not expect to have most time made up, but looks like Dan Park is just having a little bit more trouble getting through these corners. Now, this is Dan Park's section here. If he can nail these corners, he's gonna gain a lot of time on Troy. You get an overhead shot here onto the front stretch. Dan Park now all over the gearbox at Troy. The fastest lap. Dan Park, no, to Joshua Ballier in the McLaren Honda Formula 1 on the soft tire of a 124.123. So coming to turn 1 yet again. Now turn 2 to quick right left-hander chicane. Now to turn 3 to long sweeping right-hander. Down to short shoot. Down to turn 4. Troy Salter into Williams. Hangs on tough up here. Top 4 are going to be going at it for probably the majority of this test session. See Bell under heavy attack, or Bell attacking Ballier hard as we go on board with the Toro Rosso of Darius Bell. Scuderia Toro Rosso. on the DRS. Trying to take a little bit better line as we got a battle for the lead. Dan around! Trying to get to the left side of the Williams, makes contact with the Williams and goes around. This is coming to the final section of the track. If he can get lucky and get a safety car, he may be back into this, but huge break. And there he goes around yet again, sector 3, yellow. Now he's backing up across, trying to get back going. He's probably gonna have to get a new set of tires on there. And he is loose. He's trying to regather here. We're gonna go on board. And it looks like the Williams may have made a slight mistake and has allowed the Toro Rosso and the McLaren to get out in front. Now we have a 3-car battle for the lead. All 3 of these guys are really hungry. Oh, and Ballier into the back of Bell. Here comes Salter. Ballier in the grass making contact with Bell, and around goes Ballier. And now it's Bell and Salter. These two have raced before on NASCAR, but a long time ago. We now look at the Ferrari, the McLaren, and the Force India. This should be a decent battle back here. And we now look at the battle for last place, 6th place, the McLaren and the Mercedes. Mercedes is probably going to let the McLaren go by easy here, considering speed advantage he will have, and he will not block. He can't really block, but he won't even really make an attempt. He'll let him go easily, and it should be a clean pass for the McLaren, and away he goes with his line. And now we have a battle between Troy Salter and Darius Bell. This is Troy Salter's first EWRL race, actually, in general. I was going to say first F1 start. It's his first EWRL start in general. But these two have raced before in another league on NASCAR, so it's a completely different animal. But these two have raced before quite a few times before. And Darius Bell with a huge gain in the middle of the corner. A long sweeping right-hander seem to be killing Troy. And these slow corners that come up to you really fast. Troy is all over the place, trying to get the most out of his already worn tires. These tires do not last that long. These soft tires, at least. And the fastest lap to the Scuderia Toro Rosso of Darius Bell for 1:23.802. Darius Bell to the inside, side by side, into turn 1, the right left-hand chicane. Now Salter all over Bell. Bell keeping his tires in check. Salter on the line. Salter can get a better run down to short. She might have another crack at it. Dan is in pit lane. Is this a good strategy call in order to win this event? Comes in and goes back on to another set of softs. It goes on the track with another set of softs. Joining the lead battle here, Darius Bell in the Toro Rosso, and Troy Salter in the Williams, an American and a New Zealander, going at it for the top spot here in Barcelona. Scuderia Toro Rosso gets a lot of help from Ferrari. It's that is the main engine supplier for Scuderia Toro Rosso. They have a Red Bull sponsorship, so it's a common misconception that Red Bull and Toro Rosso are allies as far as equipment. No, they are not. They just share the same sponsorship in a sense. They should work together in order to in the best interest of the product, but that's not the case. Red Bulls get their engines from Renault, and Ferrari, Toro Rosso gets their engines from Ferrari. So that is the deal here. Darius Bell in a Ferrari equipment, and Troy Salter is in a Williams, which is backed by Mercedes, along with Force India. And so it's basically you would consider Ferrari and Mercedes being the lead, but Toro Rosso and Williams is pretty much a Ferrari and Mercedes battle also. As you see, Darius Bell is in Ferrari equipment, and Troy Salter is in Mercedes equipment, even though they're in two other teams, Scuderia Toro Rosso and Williams Racing. See, these two are really going at it hard. Troy is pretty much just trying to chase down Darius without doing too much more to his too much more damage to his tires. He's just trying to hang with him and see if he can get an undercut or an overcut, depending on his strategy. Not sure on that. Depending on his strategy, see what he can do to gain any time back to Darius. Now we go back to the third place battle. Who will be on the podium for the first test session of the season? First EWRL race on F1 2017. Tristan Allen in the Ferrari and Joshua Balliet in the McLaren Honda. This should be a decent battle here. Both of these drivers are have similar driving styles if you think about it, as we get our comment section blown up. Loving the support here, guys. Alright, I appreciate it. I just opened my comment section. I'm very happy y'all are enjoying. As I see the fastest lap from Dan. I guess I had missed that. Dan with the fastest lap on his fresh set of tires. We're not gonna go back up to the lead battle. Looks like Troy is just hanging in there. He is, as long as he can stay in the DRS range of the Toro Rosso. We'll see what happens here. Darius Bell in the Toro Rosso, Troy Salter in the Williams. Who can get it done? We're on lap now. We are starting lap 9 of 33 in Barcelona. Don't go away after this. We still have another 33 lap race here at Barcelona in wet conditions, and the Ferrari and the McLaren join each other into the pit lane. Strategy, and the Force India joins them. Let's see what happens here. Ferrari on the softs, the Force India on the softs, and the McLaren onto softs. And the McLaren gets out in front. What a pit crew. The Ferrari coming out second, the Force India in third. What a jump from the Force India. Dan with another fastest lap, a 123.255 on cold tires. Will Dan have anything to say? We now have a 5-car string here at Barcelona. We have the McLaren, the Ferrari, the Force India, the Mercedes, and the other McLaren of Dan Park, who's been on a stellar pace here, trying to gain any time he can, hoping for a safety car eventually, but on a stellar pace. Absolutely the fastest car here, running in 7th place due to an earlier incident. Paramount just trying to get used to the feel of the car. First EWRL event for Paramount. Steve Cross welcoming him to the league. Have Larry Arsenault, a veteran to the league, who's been around since the start. Now in a Force India, trying to chase down the Ferrari of Tristan Allen. Darius Bell is in the pit lane. Goes on to the medium, strategy call from Toro Rosso, and we now join Troy Salter on the track, the only other driver to not pit. Oh, Paramount has yet to pit. So we still, as we take a look at how many stops have been made. Troy Salter now on the middle part of the course as he goes into the left right-hander. And now he will be coming on to the second DRS straight. Now on board with Troy Salter down the short chute. He's going to come into one of the slowest corners, probably one of the harder corners of the entire F1 circuit. Will he pit now? He cannot let the drivers behind him get an undercut on him on fresh tires. So let's see, how long does he stay out? Does he pit this time? Survey says yes, he does. Into the pit lane he goes. Let's see, is it a quick enough stop? Williams is the fastest pit crew in Formula 1. Does he get the job done quick enough here? Let's see. To the pit lane he goes. He's going on to a fresh set of mediums along with Darius, trying to stretch it to the end. Coming out of pit lane here. It's going to be close. Darius is onto the front stretch. Troy is still in pit lane. He's now just getting back up to speed, and it's going to be really close. Side by side coming out of pit lane, and it's going to be the Toro Rosso barely into turn 1. Will take the lead yet again. But now Troy has the fresher mediums by 1 lap. If he can stay with Bell, who's already on a flying lap, we'll see what happens here. As we got Paramount pitting here. See what tire will he be going on. Steve Cross in the Mercedes puts on a set of mediums. So we have 2 different strategies in this race. So one strategy is we look at the set of tires here. Now everybody is on a everybody now has pitted at least once. And now we look, the 2 leaders, Darius Bell in the Scuderia Toro Rosso, Troy Salter in the Williams, and Steve Cross in the Mercedes. Those 3 drivers have decided to pit later than the other 4, trying to make it on a one-stop strategy on the medium tires, the more durable of the 2 sets of tires used so far, and they're trying to stretch it to the end here. I'm assuming they're trying to stretch it to the end because the mediums can last long. So what Ballier in the McLaren, Arsenal in the Force India, Allen in the Ferrari, and Park in the other Force India have decided to do is they pit earlier than the others to get a fresher set of tires on the faster compounded tire, which is the softs. And Troy Salter on pit lane again as a penalty to serve. Getting a speeding penalty, and they put on another set of mediums. Bad news for the Williams. That has ended their event. He will be probably racing Dan here on the pit exit. No, Dan is on a stellar pace. Dan is out of here. Let's take a look at the race director to see if we get any indication here. Speeding in the pit lane, stop go penalty for Troy Salter. You see, Paramount had to serve a drive-through penalty. He did not have an event. Drive-through penalty for jumping the start, and Mount hasn't exceeding track limits. That is your penalty rundown right now, and we'll see what Troy Salter can do. He still has another event to show off what he can do, but man, Dan Park had made contact with Troy Salter and spun. No, Dan Park actually wrecked himself. No, yeah, Dan Park made contact with Troy Salter. Ballier made contact with Bell, so both of the McLarens were fighting really hard for the lead, but both spun out themselves. And it's quite insane. Paramount had a jump start, so we don't even know honestly what he can do. He hasn't been up in the pack long enough to show what he can do if he had to pit the first lap for a penalty he got on the start. So Steve Cross in the Mercedes had a penalty for jumping the start. Troy Salter had we have, what is this, the McLaren and the Ferrari going at it hard here. Troy Salter able to get around the Ferrari. Ferrari having trouble getting back going. I guess they both wrecked or something. Tough luck for the Ferrari of Tristan Allen. But as we were saying, yeah, Steve Cross had the penalty for jumping to start. Troy Salter had the speeding penalty. Dan Park Dan Park had the collision with Troy Salter earlier in the race. Joshua Ballier had the collision with Darius Bell. So now really Darius Bell, Larry Arsenal are the only 2 drivers who've gotten incident free, as we've seen Tristan Allen now just get overtaken by Troy Salter. Now we have a battle of the 2 fastest cars here. Dan Park in the McLaren and Troy Salter in the Williams. Both of these drivers have had issues in this race to where they are not the lead cars, but they are the fastest. 4th and 5th place. We have the McLaren, Dan Park in 4th, and Troy Salter in the Williams in 5th. See Troy taking the line, hugging the inside of the curbs, trying to get a better turn in. Oh, as he almost rear ends the McLaren there. He's going to lose a lot of time there trying to stay out of the gearbox of that McLaren. Did not want to take out the front wing. Very smart move if you think about it. He's coming in with too much speed. There was no way he was going to be able to slow down in time, so it was better to just take off straight and not damage the car and try to get him back yet again. So we're going to keep on watching this here. Top of the hour, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You take a look at our world clock. It is 2 o'clock Sydney, Australia time. It is 4 o'clock Auckland, New Zealand time. The two other nations represented in this race today. Because everybody here's in the Eastern time zone, or Australia and New Zealand. So those are the 3 countries represented tonight. We have 7 represented in total in the league, and now we have a battle between the McLaren and the Williams. Here we go. You just love watching these guys. Dan is a huge veteran of this series, and Salter, man, he is aggressive, but he is smart with his driving. Salter knows what he's doing, and he's trying his hardest. As we see on the ticker, Ballier is losing time to Bell. Here comes Salter to the inside. Park just getting outstanded here. Park into the grass a little bit on the outside of turn 2, and now Salter has set sail. Dan is on the older set of soft tires, and Salter is on a fresh set of mediums, so we'll see how that fares, as Dan is now suffering with a loss of grip in his soft tires, soft compound tires. Here comes Tristan Allen on his just as worn set of compound tires up to Dan Park. Dan made a mistake in turn 2 getting in the grass, which may have caused him to lose a little bit more grip on especially those right side tires. That does not help you whatsoever at a track that requires some kind of grip. And Darius Bell, your race leader, with the fastest lap of a 1:23.146 on the medium compound for the Scuderia Toro Rosso. Darius Bell, fastest lap. Insane. And here comes Dan Park on the old set of soft tires, as now we watch. We have a yellow sector 3. And the Mercedes has spun it. Steve Cross, as he gets back going. And Dan onto a fresh set of hards. He's going to make it to the end. Dan on a set of hards. So now I'm interested to see what's the strategy here. If Dan's on a set of hards, and that's how he's gonna make it to the end, I wonder what the strategy is now. Because I told y'all the other drivers who went to mediums were gonna go try to make it to the end, but I'm just realizing now that the mediums won't be able to make it to the end. If Dan pitted for the hards, and they're barely gonna make it to the end. So we're gonna see what happens here. I guess Dan also had really no choice. And Darius Bell has set sail in the Toro, so he has now opened a 21.5 second lead. If he were to pit now, he'd maintain that lead. That is how much of a lead Darius Bell has, and as long as he doesn't make another mistake, or if there is no safety car or anything that could impede his progress, it is probably safe to say that he will end up taking the win in this event. But it's not over yet. It's just past halfway. We have a lot of racing left, but Darius Bell hugely 22 seconds now over Joshua Ballier. Darius Bell representing Scuderia Toro Rosso really well tonight. We're now right on board with Troy Salter as he tries to chase down the Force India of Larry Arsenal. Troy goes a little wide into the turn 4. And we're riding on board of him. Let's get some of his telemetry. You see his speed, his throttle, and what his pit window is. That is not his pit window. 8 to 10. That is not his pit window. And we see his fuel remaining, which is also jumping around a lot. So that is probably not an accurate fuel reading. But it is what we can get. Well, if it's not accurate, let's just get it out of here. He's now right on board. We're going to see on a full lap. No! Larry pits from the Force India. He's on a set of softs. So he does have to write the suggestion to pit, I would say. And now we go on board with Troy Salter for a lap around Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. See in the turn 1 he makes it a nice sweeping right hand turn. He has to lift out of the gas on the exit of turn 2. Now he's making the long sweeping right hander turn 3 down the short shoe. He's going to have heavy braking here and make it a quick turn to the right for turn 4. He's going to get on the gas hard. He's going to have to correct the car by steering to the left on the right hand turn. Then the turn 5 is going to be a quick in and out. Now down the short chute, he's going to have a slight curve before he enters turn 6 here. He's going to heavy brake and he's going to be turning now up the hill, turning right uphill. Still up the hill. He's going to slight brake and make it a nice flat right hander onto the second DRS straight. Now down the short chute, he's going to be heavy braking into turn 9, the slowest corner on the entire circuit. Get a nice line through here. It's going to set you up for the rest of your lap. Turn 10, a nice left right-hander. Turn 11, long sweeping right-hander. You want to make this right, he has to let off the gas to get a nice exit out there. Into turn 12, the beginning of the chicane. Turn 13 and 14, left to right-handers to the chicane. Nice and flat. Now turn 15, the long sweeping right-hander onto the front straightaway. DRS yet again. And now Pro to second. But 32 seconds is the gap between Bell and Pro. And as long as Bell doesn't make a mistake, this race is pretty much over. Tristan Allen in the Ferrari into the pit lane. The softs, hards go on the Ferrari. Take a look at it, just how many stops have been made. So you see, Dan has made his second stop. He will make it to the end. Tristan will make it to the end. Arsenault will make it to the end. Malenko, Ballier will make it to the end. Salter has made 2 stops but will not make it to the end at this moment because he had to make a stop and go penalty for speeding into the pit lane. So, Ballier on the set of hearts will make it to the end. Arsenault on the set of hearts will make it to the end. Park on the set of hearts will make it to the end. And Allen on the set of hearts will make it to the end. So you got the Ferrari in 6th. McLaren in 5th, the Force India in 4th, and the McLaren in 3rd. And Darius Bell set sail here, coming around to 13 laps to go in the Barcelona test session on dry. In dry conditions. Dan Park, your pole sitter, not running in 5th, trying to chase down Tristan Allen. No, Larry Arsenault in the Force India. Right on board. He has DRS. Down the long straight. Will he make his move into turn 1? He thinks rather not. It's safer not to. We may have lap traffic here very soon. Darius Bell will be coming up to lap traffic, so we're gonna watch Darius Bell and see how he navigates through the lap traffic. As Steve Cross has only made 1 pit stop this whole race. He's on very worn mediums, I would say. Oh, Bell is also made 1 mediums too. We're just gonna see how this plays out. As we see how Bell, we are going to see how Bell works his way around lap traffic. Steve Cross will be getting the blue flag any second here. I'm gonna ride on board with Steve Cross and see just when he gets his blue flag. Here comes Darius Bell, faster car. He should be getting blue flag just about here. No blue flags have blipped up yet. Darius Bell quite in range. Do we see a blue flag from a marshal stand just yet? No, we don't. I would be blue flagging him right now. I don't see any blue flags coming out from these marshals. Get out of the leader's way and into the pit lane he goes. From the set of mediums, where will he go on to a set of softs to make it to the end, or a set of, yeah, he will go on a set of softs trying to make it to the end. And Steve Cross in the Mercedes goes one lap down. And now we have a pretty spread out test session here. We have 11 laps remaining this time. No, 12 laps remaining. 11 this time by. When will Darius Bell and Troy Salter make their final pit stop? They're going to go from mediums to softs, while all the other guys are on a hard compound. So we're going to see how this works out. Who does have the best strategy? And this is going to be quite interesting, just what happens here. Now come around this time through the chicane. Does Darius Bell pit this lap? Survey says no. And now we get a good look to see the strategies, the range of strategies here. All three compounds brought to this racetrack are in use at this moment. The two leaders, Darius Bell and Troy Salter, are on a good set of mediums, worn tires to make it to the end. Darius Bell is off the track. Not very alarming as he has a 32-second, almost 33-second lead. But quite alarming that the leader made a mistake. And off the track he goes, and almost around. What a save from Darius Bell. Now he's gonna try to clean off those tires. This is some dangerous stuff he's getting into here. Now two back-to-back mistakes. He's only lost half a second worth of time. Okay, a whole second worth of time. But that is 31 seconds he still has over Troy Salter, who did have a speeding penalty. That's probably a good reason, probably the only reason that there's such a huge gap between Darius Bell and Troy Salter, because you also have to consider that Troy had to battle more cars than Darius did. So that's one thing to consider. So we now see the gap now down to 30 seconds. Darius Bell into the pit lane he goes. But you see now the three strategies. The drivers all started on softs. The drivers who pitted first went to another set of softs and recently just went to hards. The drivers who stayed out longer went to mediums. Paramount, Steve Cross, and the Mercedes went to softs trying to make it to the end. Darius realizes he won't be able to make it to the end on a set of softs. Safely make it to the end on a set of softs. He's going to pit for a set of mediums. Here comes Steve Cross. Back down the front straightaway, full head of steam, will not be able to get back around Darius Bell and get his lap back. Tough luck. Troy Salter is in the pit lane now. His Williams pit crew, from a set of mediums, they will put on a set of softs. Can Troy Salter make it to the end safely on a set of softs? We're going to see just what happens here. Here comes Dan Park down the front straightaway. Troy Salter will be battling on a fresh set of softs to Dan's Hard compound Dan with the fastest lap of a 123.104 from the McLaren Honda on a nice set of hards. Now Dan Park back into the second position. Man, what a run we have here. Troy Salter's not going to be all over the place trying to gain anytime he can on Dan Park. It is pretty much these two drivers in second and third place, the class of the field. Darius Mills just stayed out of trouble the most. Not saying that he is not fast, because he is very fast. He's able to pull all this time he did. But you got to say that these two drivers here, Dan getting the pole and Troy being able to outdo Dan every time they've gone toe to toe. You have to say these two drivers are the class of the field. Dan Park in the Mercedes and Troy Salter in the Williams. Now head down to the start of the chicane, turn 13, now turn 12, now turn 13 and 14. The quick left right-hander, Dan slow on the exit. Now turn 15, who can get the better line onto the front straightaway? Salter with a nice line. He's gonna have DRS all over the gearbox at Dan Park. Now side by side down the front stretch, we start lap 25. And Salter now out in front of Dan Park in the Williams is Salter. Now through turn 3, the long sweeping right-hander, get a nice run out of here, set yourself up for a nice run down the short chute to turn 4, and he is out of here. 31 seconds is the gap between Darius and Troy Salter. And we have a nice battle going on here. Does Dan have anything to go back at Troy Salter? Troy on a fresh set of soft tires. Dan on a slightly worn set of hard tires. So you can see who would be the obvious winner here. And now if Salter did not get that speeding penalty, he might be on a winning strategy here. Darius Bell with a 122.132 for Scuderia Toro Rosso, fastest lap of the event. Outstanding. That will be 8 laps to go for the Scuderia Toro Rosso here in Barcelona. So the key thing we've learned from today's test session: stay out of trouble. Do not put yourself in the spots that could be potentially dangerous for you or your race. As we see, every driver has had a mistake besides Darius Bell. And look who is en route to win this race by a arguably huge margin. I mean, you tell me that 31 seconds is not a huge margin, and it's still gaining every lap. Darius is on it every lap, flying around here, getting the fastest laps he can. He was practicing just before this race, and it's outstanding what kind of stuff Darius Bell can do. You see, he stayed out of trouble the most of today. And he's out in front. Troy Salter rebounding back from a speeding penalty, really nice, in second. Ballier now to third. Somehow Dan is just not in his mojo today. Ballier has even gotten around his own teammate Dan. But Ballier had got involved in an accident trying to race Darius Bell. Dan Park got involved in an accident trying to race Troy Salter. Larry Arsenal did not have any trouble, but has just not had the luck on his side. Strategy has been kicking him in the ass. Tristan has spun around a couple times. I believe Larry has spun around once, and now we have a battle between the McLarens side by side in the turn 4. Park on the right side, Ballier on the left side. Now they switch. Dan out in front of his teammate Ballier. We're going to go on board with Ballier. They go toe to toe in the final stages of the dry Barcelona test session. You can see Troy Salter just up ahead. Heavy braking into the very slow left-hander. And now the quick left and right-hander. Love these corners. A lot of fun. Ballet having some trouble. And Park scoots away slowly but surely. Salter doing all he can do. Now we have a battle for fifth between the Force India of Larry Arsenal and the Ferrari of Tristan Allen. A Mercedes versus Ferrari engine battle yet again for the 5th position here. Who can outdo who? Both of these drivers. I would say both of these drivers, they're pretty equivalent. This is all on driving skill here. Who can outdo who? With 6 laps remaining in this Barcelona test session. Tristan Allen all over the place, trying to get to the inside of Arsenal, down the short chute. They stay nose to tail. Now side by side into turn 5. Allen's trying to go around the outside. Arsenal's not having any of that. Keeps him at bay. Now down the short chute to turn 6. Up the right hand, or up the hill from the right to the left-hander. Continuing up the hill, the flat left-hander onto the DRS straight. Allen into the gravel trap, but will have DRS. Now down the short chute into the slowest left-hander on the track. One of the harder corners on the F1 circuit. Now down the short chute, turn 10 up the hill. Turn 11, the long sweeping right-hander. Now down the short chute to turn 12. Beginning the chicane. The right-hander now down to turn 13 and 14 into the actual chicane. The left, then right-hander. Now down the short chute to turn 15, the long sweeping flat right-hander and onto the front straightaway. Nose to tail. Arsenal getting a little bit better through the chicane. Getting through the chicane a little bit better than Allen did. As you continue on watching this battle, 5 laps remaining here in Barcelona for the dry session. Afterwards, we're going to get these cars off the track, run the sprinklers, and get this track wet and slippery for these drivers to go toe-to-toe in some wet racing conditions. Four laps remaining as Darius Bell crosses the line. You see these two drivers are now gaining a lot of time on Joshua Ballier. We have Larry Arsenal, the Pink Panther, Force India, Mercedes powered racing machine, Tristan Allen in the red Ferrari, sponsored by Marlboro, but there is no Marlboro sponsor on that car. And now we have a good battle here. Joshua Ballier in the orange McLaren Honda, Larry Arsenal in the pink Force India, and Tristan Allen in the red Ferrari. All three of these drivers are really good, and Ballier with a huge bug, a dangerous move that's going to be addressed after this race. And he continues racing hard with Larry Arsenal. Arsenal battling back around the outside of turn 3, and Ballier through the grass. Some dangerous stuff there between Ballier and Arsenal. Now Tristan Allen watching all this, squeaking through there. Now Allen almost flying off the track there. Now just trying to get around Arsenal here. And something went majorly wrong to Ballier's racing machine. We now watch this battle carry on. Now down the front stretch, 3 laps to go for Tristan Allen to find a way around Larry Arsenal. We get a nice chopper view here. You see how the positions have changed from the start of the race. Darius Bell up 6 spots. The Pro up 1, Dan down 2, Larry up 1, Tristan down 1, Melanco down 4, and Paramount down 1. You see Allen with the overtake on Arsenal here. Trying to go around the outside slow corner. Allen trying to get around, gets the crossover not to work for Allen just yet. Now all over the place. The Ferrari working hard on that Force India. Now we have a 3-car battle here with 2 laps remaining in Barcelona. This time by Allen all over the gearbox of the Force India. Now down the front straightaway, Allen with the drag reduction system, the rear wing opening. Here comes Ballier in the McLaren. 2 laps to go here at Barcelona. Now side by side into turn 3. The contact between the McLaren and the Force India. The Force India going wide off. That might be it for the Force India. Allen up to 4th. Now Allen in the grass. Here comes the McLaren. Tristan Allen with a costly mistake. This may have just given up his 4th place to Joshua Ballier. Arsenal's not done fighting yet. He's gonna be coming right back into this fight if he has anything to say about a final lap for Darius Bell. With an unbelievable battle we have here for the 4th position. This is not even for a podium spot. They're out here taking each other like this is professional wrestling. Does Ballier have anything to say for the 4th place from Tristan Allen? Final lap here at Barcelona. Both of these drivers have DRS on Allen. Darius Bell into the chicane for the final time. Turns 13 and turns 14. Now to the flat, long, sweeping right-hander. Darius Bell will win the dry test session here at Barcelona. We now check in on Troy Salter, Dan Park, and the battle for 4th. Tristan Allen, Joshua Ballier, Larry Arsenal. All 3 of these drivers going at it here for a 4th position. It's not even for podium. It's not even for the podium. It's not for points. They're going at it just for pure pride, the way it ought to be. Troy Salter off of turn 15 will take 2nd. Dan Park returns 13 and 14. Now down the short chute to turn 15. The long sweeping right-hander will take 3rd. And now down the short chute for the final time. Tristan Allen, Joshua Ballier, and Larry Arsenal. What a battle coming to the line. Tristan Allen looking like if he can just get through this final corner, turn 15. Tristan Allen will take 4th in Barcelona. Ballier will take 5th. And Arsenal will take 6th. Steve Cross will finish 7th. And now we take a look at what the results and the penalties came out like here. You have the podium celebration. Darius Bell on the top step. See Darius Bell taking the win. Troy Salter in second, and Dan Park in third. Toro Rosso, Williams, and McLaren. Here is your final results. Dan with a 3-second time penalty, not doing much to affect the outcome of the race. Let's look at the race director. The incidents: jump start, exceeding track limits for Malika, speeding in the pit lane for the pro, corner cutting for Dan, corner cutting for Tristan, corner cutting for Dan, 3 seconds for Dan, corner cutting, and corner cutting. What a race here. You see all this. We go back, we see only a 3-second time penalty for Dan. Everybody else pretty much safely in check. And we move on to the wet test session. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. Don't go away. Got the second half of the Barcelona test session in a few seconds. Few moments. I'm just gonna take a quick second. You're gonna see a blue screen here. All right, Darius. So how about that win? How do you feel about that? That lucky-ish win? Yeah, you already like the only driver besides Larry to not get like involved in anything. Troy had a penalty. That's what happened to him. It's good to hear. Good to hear. You ready for the wet test session?
Oh, I hate the wet so much. I hate
Hold on.
it.
Where did everybody go? Gotta get these guys back in here. What? Why did they go to Fortnite? Oh, well, fuck them. Who readied? Oh, that's great.
Wait, I hate the wet, so I was gonna do the wet test. I will not race in the wet.
All right. Well, congratulations on your test session win in the dry. Quite fun, I would say. And now we go on to the racing here in the wet.
So yeah, how do you like those broadcast features now?
Loving it. Loving it. Oh my god, it's a lot of fun. So much fun to broadcast. Right, but I will check in with you afterwards. You're probably going to join if you're going to do the wet. Or if you're not, what, you're not? Or you are? Alright. Well, congratulations. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. Alright. What a guy. So here we go. One shot qualifying here. So you saw Troy Salter in the Williams, Tristan on the Ferrari. That's great. Heavy rain conditions. It's gonna be somebody guys fair. This is of the wet. Now we get to see qualifying laps. I think my pick for this one will be the driver Larry Arsenal in the Force India. I think he's gonna do something really good here. Now take a look at Steve Cross in the Mercedes. These guys are running pretty identical lap times. Larry Arsenal will start third. Pole goes to the Pro. 2 seconds faster. This should be a nice battle between the Mercedes and the Force India, though. I'll be right back before the start of the race. Alright, welcome back. Here we are, Barcelona, part 2, in the rain, heavy wet conditions. Who will fare best? Another 30 seconds of pre-race. We wait for the formation lap here at Barcelona. Here we go. You see the Williams on this formation lap, the Mercedes, and the Force India. So, as we're looking at this, Troy Salter, obviously pretty into it. He probably feels pretty comfortable as long as he doesn't make the same mistake he did previously. It's gonna be fun. Everybody's gonna be using the wet tires. We're gonna be watching some telemetry here. That's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. You're gonna have a lot of onboard shots for this 33 lap test session here at Barcelona. Here comes Troy Salter through the chicane, and now we'll be re-gridding up for the start of the second test session today. Second and final. Barcelona. What a track. Got the sprinklers to work from the sky. Love the gods. We were able to work a deal out with the gods and get something done and nice and ready here for a nice rain Barcelona test session. You gotta love it. Right now it is 11:40 Eastern Standard Time, 2:40 in Sydney, Australia, and 4:40 in Auckland, New Zealand. The three drivers and their time zones. Here we go. The lights are on. 5 red lights. It is lights out, and away we go. Troy Salter, the Australian. No, the New Zealander gets out to the lead here. Steve Cross, the Aussie, takes second. See how Arsenal, the American, get fair around these guys. The Troy takes it deep into the corner. Here comes Steve, going a little wide, leaving a little bit of room for Arsenal. Salter's scooting away already. We're going on board the Force India, now working his way around a Mercedes side by side down the short two. He brakes early for turn 4. These two are going to be all over each other for pretty much the majority of the race. Looks like Steve Cross is just a little bit better in the wet conditions than Larry Arsenault. Let's see now, side by side down the short chute, the DRS straight in to the slow left-hander. Very, very rough conditions here at Barcelona. Be playing with the throttle all over the place here. And to the wide, all the way to the left side of the track goes Steve. But he's still side by side of Arsenal. Now side by side into the chicane, the left-hander Steve with the advantage. Larry will be able to cut across. No! Steve gets the advantage all the way through the chicane. Now through turn 15, a sweeping right-hander. And this is going to be a fun battle to watch. Salter with the fastest lap of a 1:43.135. And these two are going to be going at it for the rest of the race. Arsenal braking early, being the more courteous of the two drivers, in all honesty. So now take a look at this battle. Let's see Troy Salter scooting away. The New Zealander. In his first ever EWRL event. I think first ever Formula 1 league race as well. He's done league racing before, only for NASCAR. Back on NASCAR 14, so quite a while ago was the last time Troy Salter's been in a league race. And he's been absolutely dominant in the last in the first test session in dry conditions. If he didn't get the speeding penalty, he would have been battling for the win, more than likely. He was 28 seconds behind Darius Bell, give or take the battles. Troy Salter probably had the speed and the ability to compete with Darius Bell for the win of that last test session, but with the speeding penalty, those things happen. That's a big no-no in racing, and that's just exactly what happens. We go back to the battle for second place. Steve Cross, Larry Arsenault, all over the place. Who wants second more? Troy Salter for another fastest lap, a 1:38.954 in the Williams. See, out of this battle, who would you root for more? Would you root for the Force India? Would you root for the Mercedes? Mercedes right now has the track position, but I feel like that Arsenal can get up there, get around them. And Paramount has left, and it's leaving his AI, and it's now just Troy Salter, Larry Arsenault, toughing it out here. Sad to see that happen. hoping for a better turnout for the actual events, the points paying events. This race was just more of a test, trying to get everybody together. Not everybody wanted to get together, understandably. When the season comes, things will be off more smoothly, more organized. Probably not as hectic as this. This was not even planned a couple weeks ago. But we're seeing how this turned out. It turned out pretty well. 11 is a new competition. It's no longer what we're going to consider a Dan-dominated series. You can see Dan suffered a lot in the test session tonight, and Troy Salter had a lot to say when he went toe-to-toe with Dan. It was quite interesting to see how Troy Salter fared against Dan Park, who was in one of the two McLarens in the last test session. You see Troy Salter having a hell of a drive here in the wet conditions. Really, he's ready for the season. Can't wait to see what kind of stuff he can pull off throughout the season. I think he's a real contender for the championship. I know it's really early to say that, but just by this test session, it's pretty hard to say that he's not. We haven't seen anyone faster at this moment. If we do see someone faster who can be a little bit more competitive week in, week out, possibly, we'll see. But Barcelona is a great place to test that out. So many straights, a lot of corner. Barcelona, I feel like, is a great place for the test sessions to be held. It has a lot of different characteristics that just most tracks have in general. The canes and the uphill and the downhill turns and the straightaways and the flat turns and the sweeping turns, and it's just, this track has a lot to offer in terms of what track is most balanced. It would probably be this track, and that's why. And fastest lap to Troy Salter, 1:38.643, just up a few more tenths. We might be seeing that a lot more throughout the day. I feel like he's in the zone. He's in his mode where he's just gonna be getting faster and faster. He's fighting. He's gonna be digging deep and just trying to go for fastest lap. He's running all alone. He's the leader of this basically now two-man race, and he's just going to be doing his own thing. But Troy Salter, I'm expecting a lot of good things from him. When he was racing in the NASCAR League he was in before, it was a lot of fun to see him. He'd never done anything in NASCAR before, and it was a lot of fun to see how he fared. And he did not do too bad. He won the season finale of that one league, and it was just crazy. A lot of fun to race with him. He's a really great guy. Just hope he sticks around and we get to see him compete for a championship. That's the number one thing I want to see from him. Just a little bit from anyone, really. More competition for Dan in terms of championship. Joshua Ballier, his teammate in the other McLaren, has a lot of competition for Dan, but just not as much as Troy. Troy is something else. I feel like we're going to see some great things out of Troy. Don't you forget Troy Salter. He goes off the track into turn 12. Probably going to be one to watch this season as we get things started up in a couple weeks here. Next Friday, do not expect to find us. We'll be off doing other things, but the Friday after that, November 10th, is the Australian Grand Prix for EWRL Formula 1. Saturdays, we will be starting NASCAR Truck Series testing on NASCAR Heat Evolution 2, NASCAR Heat 2, a Daytona and Charlotte test session, November 10th and November 17th. November 20th, expect to find us doing the Next Era Resources 200 for the Truck Series at Daytona, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Starting up our NASCAR Heat 2 series after we get F1 up and running. We're doing recruits for a NASCAR Heat Evolution series very soon, so if you're interested, just stay tuned and stick around on the channel. You will be seeing information on a NASCAR Heat 2 Truck Series signups, a video very soon. After that, we're planning to get a Project Car series going here towards the beginning, or just right after the new year, right after Christmas, right after New Year's. We're going to be trying to get Project Cars 2 IndyCar Series racing done on Project Cars 2 with the not officially licensed, but the official DW12 Indy cars, the 2016 drivers and liveries featured in the game. We're going to be trying to get an IndyCar series with the several IndyCar tracks featured in the game. We're going to try to set up a schedule in the IndyCar series. Troy's passed the lap of a 138.426 for Williams Racing. But yeah, Project Cars 2 will be starting January. We should be getting a IndyCar series started up on Project Cars 2. It'll be a lot of fun, a lot of anticipation. Once everybody gets the game, it's going to be very, very hyped. IndyCars are a fun series to race on in ovals and road courses. Push to pass is a huge factor on both, and it's just really interesting. Strategy is huge in IndyCar. If you thought strategy was huge in F1, IndyCar is a whole different animal. Strategy is important in both, not gonna lie, but IndyCar, it's just, IndyCar's fun. Project Cars 2 is gonna be a series you quite enjoy. There's been some Project Cars IndyCar racing on the channel featured before, but none to the extent of a full-on Cars 2 IndyCar Series League. That's gonna be a lot of fun. But after that, we will have a time slot open. Probably in the summertime, we can try something else. We are looking at other possible options. If you want to leave a comment on what you would rather see, it'll probably be taken into consideration as we're looking at, if we decided to do a 4 series, our options were on F1 2017. We do a series with the classic cars and short versions of all the 4 short versions of the courses and other tracks. So the classic cars, which are a lot of fun. I've driven a few. I would love to do a classic car series on this game. I feel like it's a lot of fun. So we could do F1 2017 classic cars, or this summer we'd be doing a NASCAR Heat 2 Cup Series League. Back to the roots of EWRL. It was started on NASCAR Insight, or we tried to start on Insight Line, but it started on NASCAR 14 to the Gen 6 and the Cup Series racing background of EWRL is where we started. Strong. Back to our roots, to the NASCAR Heat 2 Cup Series, or we could do something this summer, especially this in the summertime. Project Cars 2 Endurance Racing, lots of fun. Does take quite a time commitment, but that's why it'd be done in a summer time. And endurance racing has always been a lot of fun, a lot of strategy, and it's a lot of fun for the drivers especially. So those are 3 options. We can do more. We can do sprint races and GT cars and everything. There's so many options. Project Cars, or NASCAR Heat 2 Cup, or Xfinity, or F1 Classic cars, literally anything. Ideas with F1, NASCAR, or Project Cars, or another GT series. GT is a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to do. If the popularity is there for a GT series, we'll run it again. Right now we're in the chase playoffs for our GT series. We have 4 races left in the GTA series season 1, and that is going really strong. We're gonna see what happens afterwards. So you have 4 series up for grabs: F1 Classic Cars, NASCAR Cup, Project Cars Endurance, or a GTA series. Probably also ran with trucks. We also have series as options would be a NASCAR Heat 2 Xfinity series, Project Cars GT, Cars, Project Cars Rallycross. We are also planning to do a Rallycross series prior to most of the IndyCar races on our schedule starting 2018. That'd be Sunday nights right after the Cup Series events. Project Cars is going to be a lot of fun. Rally racing is a lot of fun on there. IndyCar racing is a lot of fun on there. It's going to be quite entertaining to watch, quite entertaining to do. And just cannot wait for Project Cars or the NASCAR Heat 2 series. It's going to be a lot of fun. But enough talk about other series. We got F1 to do. So we have a pretty hyped return test session here at Barcelona, Catalunya, Barcelona, Spain. Troy Salter, class of the field, both test sessions, clearly showing his dominance, at least at Spain, but showing he's got something to do here. He's got quite a need, quite a desire to win. He's attacking hard, and that's great to see out of any driver who's willing to race in F1. Attacking is the number one thing. So, as you see how this plays out, 24 laps remaining here in the Barcelona test session in the rain. Just can't wait for the season to get going here. We got a couple weeks before we do that, and definitely gonna be a lot of fun. More drivers out on the track, and it's gonna be chaos everywhere, Australia. We're going to go on board with Troy Salter this lap to see how he gets a lap done here and Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, Barcelona, Spain, in the wet. A lot of fun racing here in the wet. So he comes through turn 15, the long sweeping right-hander onto the front straightaway. Let's go on board with Troy Salter. And that is quite a lap you have here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. You know, 22 laps to go. We're gonna see how Larry fares on lap here at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. Arsenal off the track on the short sheet to turn 6. Turn 5. So that was quite a chaotic lap as we saw Larry go off the track coming out of turn 4. Let's see if he's just having trouble in that spot or if that was more of a random thing. We'll see if he can take it right this time through turn 4. He's taking a line, I guess, trying to stay off the race. That's a weird line to me. The way he took it, he entered higher than what you would usually enter. And it just, I don't know. I don't think that's what you do. I mean, it just sets you up really poorly for a decent exit. It's not helpful the way he did it, unless that was just a one-time deal. We'll see what happens here as we continue to watch Larry Arsenal in the Force India. Troy Salt did the fastest lap, 137.713. Arsenal really loose off the final turn, turn 15. Having a lot of trouble here. He could use a little bit of assistance. He's trying no traction control. It is not easy. See his throttle control. You can tell he's not using traction control. He's trying really hard. Give him a lot of credit. Because this would not be his pace if it wasn't for his traction control. But he's trying something new. It's a test session. And he's just seeing what he can do. And pretty much what you should use test sessions for. See how which driving style would fit you best for a situation. And he's trying out traction in rain, which must be a lot of fun. I mean, that's crazy. In some of these corners, it looks like he's trying to drift the car. Oh, and nice save. Go back to Troy. Halfway here, Arsenal pits. This just in, the Astros take a 2-1 lead in the World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Score was 5-3 in Game 3 in Houston. Larry has trouble here. Everybody's made a pit stop. And Larry goes around. Sector 2 yellow flags. Larry having a hard time now, just trying to keep the car straight. Larry now in the pit lane. So I bet Larry's having a lot of fun with this. Come around to this time by will be 14 laps to go. Larry goes around in sectors 2 and 3, the transition point. He's trying really hard, no traction. I just don't know if he can do much. All over the place goes Larry, just trying to keep the car straight at this point. Troy Salter for another fastest lap, a 1:37.542 for Williams Racing. Guy just gets faster and faster. Now he's in lap traffic of an AI who's gone ghost. Steve Cross's AI is just running around making laps, lipping it to the finish. As you can drive through, let's see how Troy fares with getting around. He really brave for the AI. Dead. Just an AI. Nine laps to go here at Barcelona. Now both drivers are a lap down, and this is pretty much a Mr. Paramount race for the ages here. That was a joke. Troy Salter is leading here into Williams with a substantial lead, I would say about a lap. But no, Troy Salter with a huge lead, a whole lap over second place. Steve Cross, he's gone AI, and Larry Emerson not having the time of his life, trying to keep the car straight. Third place behind an AI. Really bad throttle control. But he can work on that. Driver would know it just takes a lot of practice, and that's what this is. This is a huge practice. What was supposed to be an over-glorified practice, but no, never happened. I think it's that time where we know Pro is going to win this event. And I think it's time that we cut this a little early because I'm probably going to fall asleep. So anyway, thanks for watching the EWRL Barcelona test session, the dry and the wet. Darius Bell winning the dry and Troy Salter winning the one in rain conditions. Troy Salter with a lot of potential for this season. Darius Bell also with a lot of potential for this season, but he's a veteran. And yeah, just glad to see great things coming for this season, and we hope you stick around for that. In a couple of weeks, we have the Australian Grand Prix. Should be a lot of fun, very chaotic, and we will have quite a few drivers for that. So until then, we will see ya, and stay safe.